Hey guys, welcome back to this channel. I'm Ella, and in this video we are going to work on a retaining truss structure, and we will see how we can present it for our portfolio or any other documents. First, let's go to AutoCAD and look at all of the details. As you can see, we have 3 different sheets, 19 different parts. We have different columns, we have different IPEs, dimensions, we have different shapes of plates, we have WMPs with different sizes. This is our pile here with its spiral rebars. We have 2 types of foundation. This is the section of our foundation. We have 2 different plans. This is for foundation plan and this is for truss plan. And also here we have these braces which connects 2 truss together. And with all of this information, we have modeled this truss retaining structure with lots of details. We have different types of connections, plates, rebars here. We have base plates, we have these piles here, and also we have these braces in each side. Now, how should we present all of these details? Before we start, I want to mention that this way that we're going to work on is not formal, and we usually don't use this for delivering final documents. So just use this for your portfolio or when you want to be creative, for example, for presentation or these kind of things. I think this view have enough potential. Maybe it's not that much informative, but I think it has a good visual and could give an overall view of the whole structure. So let's start. First, set your perspective. Let's go with something like this. Active crop view and crop region and set it. Maybe something like this. Choose a very low scale from here because we need to see lots of details and export a clear image. You can either export this view like this, or if you think it's a bit too messy, you can just hide all of these rebars. Select one of the rebars and right click. Select all instances in entire project, and now right click and hide all of them. And just do this for all of the remaining rebars. It looks much better and clear. Now let's export. Go to File and Export. Scroll down, Image and Animation, Image. After you select a name and location for your image, we're going to change image size to zoom to, and we need to put a high number for this part. Maybe 150, maybe 100. It depends on the quality that you want to have. Then from export range, choose current window to export only this view. And from format part, you can select JPG, PNG, or any other format. For raster match quality, let's select 300 and then hit OK. This is a very high quality that we selected for our picture, so it might take a bit time to export. But if you don't need this much quality, you can just simply lower all of those numbers. Let's see. If it's me, I would render again with higher quality just to have better lines in all of these parts. But this is already 12 megabyte, and if you're working on your portfolio, this is a lot for a picture and you need to manage all of them. So just keep this in mind. Go to graphic display. In here, go to shadow tab and active show ambient shadow. You can also use sketchy lines if you want. Then go to lighting and increase ambient lighting from this part. When you apply, you will have this kind of shadow here. You can also increase or decrease sun or shadow if you want. Okay. Now another thing that we can export and use for our presentation is plan view of truss and foundation. So let's go to plan view. In here, there are so many things that you need to fix and set. We have these grid lines which you can create yourself or just use the default grid lines. We have all of these dimensions in different parts in foundation between our grids for all of the ties or distances in these parts. We have also tags and text for foundation and ties. One thing that you need to keep in mind is that first set your scale from this part, because if you set all of these dimension and these grid lines, all of these line and tags in here, and then you change the scale of your view, all of these might disappear like this. So make sure you're using the right scale. And also, if you need a full tutorial on how you can manage your dimension and your lines, you can watch these two tutorials. Let's move to adding more details. While you're in plan view, create a new section. It doesn't matter which truss you select or in which side you're creating your section. Let's create one for this part. Go to 3D, go to your section and set your view. Change detail level to fine to make everything clear, and also put your visual style on consistent colors. Then change the scale if you want to export this view. We haven't started creating details for this one, so let's change this first. Okay, much better. There are lots of details in this part that we need to add. First, let's hide these extra parts. These are parts of braces and I think we can see them in other views. So in this part, we are going to focus on only these truss and all of these plates and connections. So let's first hide these parts. Now let's add details, tags, and dimensions. Go to Annotate and select Aligned. First, create dimension for all of these parts between these levels, like this. And then create another one from this part to this part. Okay. And just do the same for this part. I have created all of these dimensions for different scales to work faster, so I'm going to use them for this. You can also create dimension for all of these parts. As you see, we have different plates here, and you can create dimension from center to center for all of them, just to have better accurate numbers for each part. While you're in Annotate, click on Tag All here, and in this view, first, let's create tag for structural columns. So check this structural column here. If you have created other tags for them, you will have them in this part. If not, you can just select this default tag here. Active leader if you want, and with this part, you can change its length and orientation. I don't think I need leader, so I'm going to uncheck this. Hit apply and okay. We have one here. Another one here. Let's select one of them and change its orientation to vertical. If you want, you can use it like this. For this one, you can change its angle. For example, let's use 45 minus 45. Something like this could be good. This is the default tag of Revit. If you want, you can create new family for your tag. You can add different labels or leaders if you want. Let's go to Tag All again and create tag for framing, structural framing, and also foundation tag. We have created this tag, but I can see that it's a bit large for this scale. If we had 1 by 100, this could be suitable, but now that we have 150, it's large. So select your tag and go to Edit Family. In Edit Type, change its text size to maybe 2 for now. If you want, you can change its color or font as well. Okay, and load it. This framing is double side. We have one here and one on the other side of this plate, so we have two different tags in this part. Let's delete one of them and move this one to center. We have also two in this part, so let's delete this one. These two parts are separated, so we are going to keep both of them. Another thing that we have here is all of these plates. We can't have exact dimension of all of them in this part. We need to create more detailed documents. So first let's check if we can add any tag for them. Let's go to all tag again and active these plate tags here. Apply and OK. As you can see, we have all of these dimensions in this part, but this is not accurate. This 600 is for this part, and this 200 is for its width, and this number is for its thickness. But we don't have any dimension for this part or this part, so we can actually keep this. But I think there is a better way. Delete all of these tags related to our plates. By the way, you can use these tags if you have rectangle or square plates. So if you want to give dimension and details for each plate, each part, each connection, we are going to use detail line. In here, select circle, and in line style, select the line style that you have created before. Let's create one in here. Now create another text for this part, which says, for example, detail number 5. Change its size and OK. Then we are just going to create one of these for each part that you think it might need more explanation, more details. Then let's copy this detail tag for each part and change this name. After this, we are going to create more detail in larger scale with all of the dimension for each detail that we have created. Go to view and click on callout here. You are going to create just a simple rectangle like this. Now, if you double click here, you will have that part in more detail. Now, if you go to this part and hide this callout like this, and this will be your detail number 1, and in this part you can show detail and dimensions for this. Let's change its scale to 1/5. In here you can either use tag all as we have created for these column and framing here, or you can just simply use text with the dimension, with the detail, with the style that you want. Let's first check its name and then go to text and create a text here. Okay, copy it for this part and check this framing's name and change it. If you want to give the exact dimension for each part, you can look at the 2D dimension here. You can look at its 2D dimension. This is detail number 6, and this is all of the details related to it. And also we have these tags for this column and this framing, and for this plate we have something like this. So we can either create a text for it like these two, or we can just simply use tags. It's double plate 100 by 10. You can also create a section for this part in here, or for this framing in this part. And you can also add center line and leaders to show more detail and dimensions. After you created all of these details for each part of this truss, we're going to show all of them in a sheet, like what we have in this part. But since it's not for documentation and like formal delivery, we can be somehow creative here, and instead of showing all of them like this, we can create a perspective of this truss and add dimension and detail for each part. For this, let's go to 3D view. First, let's duplicate this 3D view. Go to project browser and in this part, right click and duplicate view, duplicate with detailing. Change its name to, for example, Truss 3D and select one of them. It doesn't matter which one you're selecting. Just go to top view and select one from left to right. And then click this section box here. First, let's hide these parts. Now hide this section box as well and set your perspective. In here, we have two different ways. We can export all of these different parts and work on them on Photoshop. This way you have more option and you don't need to change the scale and text size and all of these things. It will be easier to change all of them in Photoshop. Or we can use sheets to combine all of them together. Right click and create a new sheet here. Okay. In project browser, find that view, it's Truss 3D, and just drag it to this view. As you can see, the scale is too much. Double click and change its scale from here. Double click and deactivate this crop region so we don't have any extra line here. Move this title up like this. And if you want to change its style, you can select one of these or create your own title. Now let's add these details. Go to sheet and from here select that detail, it's detail number 1, and drag it to this view. Again, you can change its scale and also you can move its title, you can change its color, its name, its size. Let's put it here near this title. And also let's add all of the other details. I'm going to use no detail for this one. And if you want to add its name like detail number 1, you can just create a text for it like this and just type detail number 1. Another thing that you can do is to go to detail line and create a circle like this around your detail. You can change its style from here. You can just go with dash. You can change its line weight. You can change its style and all of these things. Then again, create another detail line with this one and create a line like this. And just repeat this process for some parts. For example, you can add another detail for this part, another one for this connection. These have so much detail and you can add dimension and everything. You can create another one for this part or for this part, maybe for this base plate, and wherever that you think could be good to see in this sheet. I think this is enough for plates. Let's work on a bit on this pile too. Go to 3D view and duplicate it. Unhide section box and just select the pile. And also unhide all of the rebars here. Now if you select your foundation, you will see all of the rebars here. If you want to see them in this view, select all of the rebars here. In properties, scroll down and in graphics section, click on edit. In this part, you can see all of the views that we have in project browser. And if you check this box in front of 3D view, Truss 3D pile, you will see all of the rebars in this view. Another way that you can see the rebars is that select your foundation, select your pile and right click, go to override graphic in view by elements and just simply increase the transparency. Apply and OK. It's not clear, but it has better visuals. To add a section or plan for this pile, go to Truss and in here, create a callout for this pile here. Go to View and create a callout here and go to its detail. Hide these levels and also these extra rebars. Select pile and again increase its transparency to see all of these details here. You can again use tag for all of these rebars and these column and plates here, or you can just simply create text and information for each of them. Using this option here might make this view a bit messy, so I rather create text for each rebar. So just type these numbers and add leader and line to show where they belong. Another thing that you can do in this part is to create dimension for different parts. For example, you can create one for this part. Let's change its scale to something like this and move it to this part. And also create another one from here to this part and also this part and then here. If you want to have a section from your pile, you just need to click on here in this section icon here and create one like this. Let's change its direction with this icon here. First, hide extra lines, change its scale to 1/10, put it on fine and change its visual style like this. If you go back to its section, you can just copy this text, also create another text for this part, paste it, move this down, and also create dimension for this part. Use aligned or linear to create dimensions, or you can just simply use radial. Now let's go back to our sheet and in here import all of those information. Okay, now since all of these are related to pile, let's create a rectangle around them, something like this, just to keep all of them together. And also we can create a leader like this to show all of these are related to these pile. Let's move all of these to this part and add our plan view to here. And for this part, you can just simply add this truss detail. I know this is a bit messy. You can have better numbers and dimension. You can have better scale for each part of them. You can change the size of the font and the family of these levels and grid heads. Instead of this, you can also add details about the foundation of this part, about this tie here. As we created details for this pile, you can do all of them for these two parts and just add details, give information for different parts. As I said, you can do all of these in Photoshop. You will have more options there and you can use different tools to have the same result. So don't forget that you have that option too. So yes, that's it. I hope this was helpful for you and you enjoyed watching this tutorial. I will see you in the next video.